Yo, Guda, is this fucking mic on? Man, welcome to the GINN podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Yes, sir. Welcome to the GINN podcast. What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the GINN podcast. This is your host, Gilbert Sanchez. Twitter, Instagram, Gilbert Sanchez without the E in my last name. You can find me at. But if this is your first time here, I just want to say I appreciate you clicking on the link, listening on podcast platforms. On this actual platform, this actual podcast, pretty much we're based in San Antonio, Texas. I like to have guests on, interview guests that are doing big things around the city. I said it in a podcast a couple podcasts ago that San Antonio is definitely underrated when it comes to cities in Texas. So it's a little weird when you get to this kind of space of creativity, because I definitely think it's looked down upon. So that's my thing. This is this platform just shining light on people that are doing big things in this actual creative space, whether if it's clothing brands, which we're gonna get into, and garage gyms, freaking just painters. I mean, I've had so many people on here that are just doing amazing things, and it's pretty cool to see them come on here and have their story and everything they're about and their whole background. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool kind of time. But I just want to say I appreciate you. If you listen to episode 54, I think with Stephanie Waters, I appreciate that. That one was a wild one. Very, very controversial whenever it came to my unpopular opinions, especially the last one. I got so many DMs about the last one, so I appreciate you. If you didn't agree with me, cool. If not, yeah, it's all love on my end. But man, we'll get right into it. We'll go with Yo Sneaks, but his first name is Henry. And I just want to touch on that because I was saying off air, just I don't know, man. It's Henry. When you think of a Henry, it's like a white name. Not to be disrespectful to you, but it's just funny on my end. So it just caught me off guard. Whenever, like I said, whenever I was voting for you, but yeah. So Yo Sneaks, he has a clothing brand which we'll get into, and I first want to start off with the kind of connection we came about as far as like how you're here, why you're here. So we have a mutual friend named Ron. So again, shout out to Ron. Yeah, shout out to Ron one more time. He's man, he's someone else. He's not someone else. He's something else because his work ethic is crazy. It's a whole different story. But yeah, I've just a little backstory, bro. I've known Ron for shit, damn near like 4 years now.
Oh yeah.
Well, 5 years. I met him in 2017. We worked at Apple, a retail store at La Cantera, for about 2 hours. 2 hours. Holy shit. For about 2 years. And he was probably the first, not probably, he was the first person to show me the ropes around the whole store. So
he was like your hiring connector.
Yeah. It was weird because I think he had been there maybe a year and a half, 2 years. I don't remember. And he was the person that kind of just showed me the ropes as far as how to talk to people, where different products was, product knowledge. Because I mean, when you work at Apple, is a whole different side of world that you just most people don't know. So it's a little different. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little intimidated and shy, and just communication skills weren't fucking there. But yeah, that's kind of just the whole basis on Ron. And then I know you had said you've known Ron for about a year now. So
Yeah.
take me through that as far as like what connections or like networking came about when we're meeting this guy.
So actually, it's really funny because I met Ron through another friend, actually my business partner, and Ron was doing what Ron does. He was trying to sell him a website.
Oh yeah.
So, but what at the time what we were doing was putting our brands together. So, even though we are going to talk about it in a little bit, outside of the clothing aspect, I also do like graphic design, business business stuff,
Mhm.
video production, marketing, and that jazz. And our goal was to bring everything together and package it, sell it to businesses. So when we first met, the idea was if we can bring Ron on to like help us figure out the website situation and how to manage that or navigate that with our customers. And then we was like, well, we could actually all use each other as
Yeah, yeah.
a way to move and connect. And then I just I rock with Ron. Ron is a really funny dude. So like when we would have our business meetings, we would kick it, and I was like, man, I'm really trying to redevelop my website personally, and I'm gonna put it in your hands. Let's get this shit rocking. So I've known him since then, and he's a real cool dude.
Yeah, he's man. Sometimes he comes out with these like dad jokes that are take you a minute or two to to like get on the program with, and it's just hilarious sometimes. But yeah, man, he's a dope dude when it comes to websites. He kind of he made my podcast website. It's a one page website, but as little or as simple as it looks, there's kind of a bit of stuff when going into a website that I had no idea what I was doing. So it was just cool to kind of dish it off to him, and then him coming back with the final product and just actually showing me the ways and what I have to change with new
Mhm.
information. So it was a pretty cool thing to see. But man, we'll get right into the actual clothing brand that you actually have. So when you see nowadays, everybody has a clothing brand or
Yeah.
everybody wants to start one, which is cool. And I always say there's a lot more people that don't want to start clothing brands that do. Um, like the ratio is huge, and I've done a little bit of research on clothing brands. Clothing brands, I think, are always going to be in just in how do I say this?
Demand.
Yeah, in demand,
Yeah.
just because there's 8 billion people on this world. Not to say that you're going to be have everybody on this fucking world wear your brand, but like I said, there's more people that are don't have a clothing brand than that do or sell
Yeah.
products. So with what made you start this whole clothing brand process?
Well, so my story kind of starts at in a completely different avenue. So initially, my brand is I Heart Yo Sneaks. My company is Yo Sneaks. So out of Yo Sneaks, I do a lot of different avenues. I have Yo Sneak Peaks where I do like the video production, the marketing, and blah blah blah. I also have uh, I Heart Yo Sneaks, which is my nonprofit. And that was the lane that my clothing brand started because when I started I Heart Yo Sneaks, I was in college. It was just a way for me to get the homies together, collect sneakers, clean them up, and then we distribute them out to the kids in our neighborhood. Kind of rolled into like this organization where we were able to bring people in to help us volunteer, do like outsourcing, go everywhere, just to help out and help out different communities and try to build a relationship. But how we started it was I had to kind of finagle my friends or trick my friends. I was like, look, um, I'll design you this t-shirt and I'll exchange this t-shirt for a pair of shoes that you have.
Ah, gotcha.
So
Okay.
we did the switch and everybody was rocking with the idea of bringing me a pair of shoes for a t-shirt. I was in the beginning stages of trying to like create a t-shirt brand. But I was also like trying to figure out the whole graphic design avenue, how to sell, how to run a business in that aspect. And that was a way for me to combine everything. I did that in at my college. Went to grad school, and took it. I kind of like stepped away from it and let like the little homies like handle everything, build their network, and see like what would it look like if I wasn't there anymore. And then once I realized that was working, I brought it back home with me. Um, it got to the point where we were able to put on a whole bunch of different programs and events and stuff like that. But I was broke. I was like, all right, I got to figure out how I can live and fund this at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
And so, um, y- at the same time, I'm going to like business mentors and stuff like that, and like just trying to grow, learning the process. So my whole business knowledge of like starting it was trying to run a nonprofit. And so in that aspect, I was like, well, I need something separate to create revenue so that I can fund it. And rather than calling both products I Heart Your Sneaks, I was like, well, this is the brand that I'm going to be selling. I want to live it. And that's where the idea of lifestyle came from. So I started calling it lifestyle. I started introducing my friends. I was like, look, this is lifestyle. This is different from I Heart Your Sneaks, but it helps fund it. I want everything to work together. So when I built it, the idea is I want to have my structure of the nonprofit to where that I can help the community, bring the community together, do things to grow, but I also want to style it with some dope ass shit. But because I also do film, I want to film the process. I want to like, showcase that um I am the greatest
Yeah,
multitasker. You
no,
know what I'm saying?
bro, there is so many questions I have because you just went into depth about. I didn't realize how deep it is, and not to no offense to you, but you have a couple of huge things on your plate, which is most people don't have. So, before I even say anything, shout out to you, bro, because that is, like I said, that's a lot of things going on in one person's life that is, like I said, most people don't have, and most people can actually do. But the first question I have is nonprofit. Um,
Mhm.
the whole reason behind the nonprofit is what reason would you say? Like taking
Um,
these sneakers and giving them. I just want to hear your views on it, but
well, so initially I wanted to give back to the community in a way that I thought was something that was in my character. I can join the Boys and Girls Club, I can join a church, I can do like a lot of different things, but I'm like, that's really not my lane. And the beauty behind it is like I found sneakers and something that I was passionate about. That ironically, so college, I'm like this huge sneakerhead.
yeah, yeah,
You know how that goes. A huge sneakerhead working in a shoe store. I get in every single shoe that comes out at that point, and it's like my persona at that moment. So I'm big and boastful, and then somebody stole all my shoes.
oh shit,
Yes, like broke into. I was moving apartments, and somebody broke into my car and stole all my shoes.
damn, that is
So, but from that point, I had like a come to Jesus type moment. It was like, well, am I still a sneakerhead? Like, did a sneakerhead mean like owning 300 pairs of shoes, or is it like passion? And what is
mhm.
passion? So I started diving as a filmmaker. I started diving into the aspect of storytelling and how to build a story and how to like bring things together that make sense for me. So it was like, well, I give back anyway. So let's give away some shoes. How would
Yeah.
that look? And
I mean, I'm sure you can attest to this. Even when you're maybe younger too, as well, getting a new pair of shoes is a different feeling, man. It's like you're high on life because you go when you're younger, you go to school and you got the flyest kicks on. Like
mhm,
there's just a feeling that you get, and even at that, I mean, I'm not too sure on your childhood, but for me, there was times where I would get maybe one or two shoes a whole school year. And I mean, you had to rock those shoes till they're peeling or till they're cracking or whatever.
mhm.
So when you did get the new pair, you're flexing. Like that's the easiest way to put it. So nah, man, I can see how that's very very transcending when going back to a community and giving people or kids the
Mm.
I mean, just the luxury of having those type of sneakers. Not too sure what type of sneakers, or it's like sneakers in general, Nikes,
Yeah,
Jordans, or just in general.
sneakers in general, all sizes.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Preferably new to like new, cleaned up a little bit.
Hmm.
And I always think so back to the thinking of it as a kid. So I have a twin brother.
Oh, dang.
So so when we would get shoes, we would trade, or he would wear my shoes one day, I would wear his shoes one
Same.
day.
I'm assuming
Kind
same
of
size,
so
right?
yeah.
Same size. Yeah.
So I kind of got into the idea of like keeping my shoes clean in that aspect, and then just wanting more, wanting more. Ironically, my brother's not really into shoes as much as I am right now, but he's the one who started the whole shoe thing for me. My dad has shoes, but he wasn't like the big shoe
Hmm.
guy. And but he always brought home some clean shoes. My uncle, he always brought us some clean shoes. He was in the military. Well, all my family is in the military, but um, it was growing up in a church environment, learning to give back, always give back, and um, that aspect it really sticks with you. Honestly, it's like you learn to care about people, but
Hmm.
you also learn how to do it in your way or find your voice. And as a kid growing up, it's like, man, I want this shoe, I want this shoe. But as a twin brother, we can't just go out and
Yeah.
get. So I learned I that's where I kind of got my hustler spirit. My dad would have us out there cleaning cars, little $10, $15 each. I'm cutting my pastor's grass, and so like if I was gonna buy a shoe, I knew I was like, man, this is gonna be the one.
Yeah.
I gotta get this one like this, da 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 da. But yeah, no, that's how that whole sneakerhead
Hmm.
ideology came. And just working in a shoe store, you see the kids that come in. uh you see the kids, like when I was in college, it's a smaller town, so you see the kids come in, they don't really have much. They see
Oh
like
yeah.
the shoes on the wall, and that's like you know
You got to go to a different section based off the type of budget that the parents have. I got you, man. I
exactly,
got you.
exactly. And then just seeing those kids, bro, like that was one thing. I was like, man, I want to help. I want to help. I
Hmm.
want to do something that I can help out in, and that I can, try to see if I can get my friends to do the same thing, if they got that mindset, or see where they're at with that. So it was more so trying to get a collective together to build the brand of I Heart Your Sneaks. And that's basically the foundation of the streetwear, is community, but also like incorporating culture.
Hmm.
Cause it's like everybody wears shoes. Well, pretty much everybody wears shoes, everybody wears sneakers, but it's the culture aspect that
Yeah.
makes one shoe flyer than the other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that kind of ideology.
Yeah, man. I want to tell a quick story. I worked at Champs. Shit, my sophomore year of college, I think, or maybe my freshman year. It's 2016. It was my sophomore year, but I did that for 6 months, and it was from March to about September, and July to September ish was obviously back to school. So the amount of it was on the south side too, so it's a little different. I mean, if you're from the south side of San Antonio, you know the type of I get. I wouldn't even say poverty. Yeah, there's a ton of poverty on the south side of San Antonio. So you see these kids with these parents that come in, and they can't afford shoes, so it's just kind of a sentimental feeling like fuck. Um, there's something that I can do, but the amount of people that came in during that time was insane to me. That's probably the hardest time I've ever worked. Like, I'm sure you can attest to it. Like, just going back and forth, grabbing the shoe, trying to keep up with another customer, trying to
Yeah.
sell them a fucking pair of clothing to like bump up,
Upsell.
to upsell. Like, there's so many things that
Yeah.
come with like buying shoes, and obviously, I'm not too sure on how it is now, but I know um, when I first got there, it was commission based, but then it transitioned to hourly and a little bit of a commission. So it was a little bit different. It was a weird transition for I guess Champs or other sneaker stores. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, it's different when you get into that environment. And you see these kids, and you see their faces whenever they put on those Jordans or shit, those retros if we had them in stock.
Yeah.
So nah, man, shout out to you because that's a true blessing when you go into a nonprofit and you're providing these kids with these shoes, man, or sneakers in general. But I excuse me, sorry. I want to talk about the whole clothing brand nonprofit because it's a genius part, bro. Like when you said nonprofit, it wasn't clicking on how it actually came about and how it transitioned into the clothing brand. But your last kind of segment just taught me. I guess whenever you want to sell a product, you're gonna kind of have an emotional side to it. Not to say that this is how you're doing, but you also have a background story of why you're doing what you're doing. So then when you go to the clothing brand, it's like, damn, like it's a dope situation when it's coming from one person and you have all these different brands. It's just pretty cool to see, bro. So yeah,
Appreciate
yeah, yeah.
that. Appreciate that.
But when did you first? Because when did you first start the nonprofit? It's been a while.
2015. It
Okay,
was
2015.
it was
Oh, so
uh
that, yeah, that's been a while for
yeah,
sure.
winter break 2015. Yeah, I was about to graduate.
And then the actual clothing lifestyle brand, when did that come about?
Lifestyle came, it trickled in about like 2018. I hadn't called it lifestyle yet. It was still we were I was still pushing it as I heart your sneaks. Hence why I started lifestyle. So I didn't want the two to be
Yeah,
confused
yeah.
for one another, but I wanted it to be under the same umbrella, I
Yeah.
guess you could say.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
you know,
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
yeah.
My bad for
No,
cutting you
you
off.
good, you good.
But the question I was gonna ask is when you go into the clothing brand process, the name, the logo, the designs are essentially the hardest part because you want something to, well, I guess in my eyes, I'm not too sure. I've never started a clothing brand, but when you see things, a product, I mean a design on a t-shirt, you kind of want to have something catchy or I guess eventful to kind of catch the consumer's eye.
Mhm.
So what was the whole process on that? Trying to figure out what design to use, objects, fonts, because that's all just a whole nother side of actual like graphics design, as you
Mhm.
first said a couple minutes ago. So how was that whole process?
Well, it's still I'm still learning to this day, like how to. I will never perfect that art, but in my mind, it's how you tell a story, and I think as an artist, I would consider myself an artist before anything is portraying your story or portraying a story in the simplest way possible. Um, so for me, I'm mostly connected with brands that touch on culture, touch on like something that's going on or something that I resonate with. If you see a shirt that says like um now I'm drawing a blank.
No, you're good. So I know what you mean though. Like the if a company had like an inspirational or motivational or something that you can connect with if you're like a certain situation that you had going on. I know what you mean because I feel that way too. If a story or not if a brand has a story behind it, or if the person that actually is selling the product that has a story behind it, you can feel a connection between what they actually been through and maybe what you've been through. So
Mhm.
I see what you mean, and it's sometimes it's weird whenever people that are selling products or I guess maybe influencers or just people that have that kind of platform or outlet, you kind of see the same situations that you might have gone through, and I think that's where the connection comes from. So it's just weird to how s- sometimes we just have the same childhood, and
Yeah.
it's just all crazy.
And like seeing like shirts, like for me personally, I watch hella cartoons, I watch hella music videos. So I was connected to music and cartoons and all types of different things that kind of formed my adolescent brain as to, how to structure it. And, I'm sitting there with a pen and a paper or a crayon or whatever, just drawing and sketching and trying to like build something. But I feel the art behind graphic tees is kind of cool because it's somebody's blank canvas for them to just do catch your attention or remind you of something.
Yeah.
And before I even wanted to do t-shirts, I wanted a way to be like, okay, well, how can I how can I have a memorable story? How can I like show this? And then, in high school, I used to design backpacks for people. I used to draw on shirts. Me and my brother used to do like crazy different
Yeah.
designs on like shirts with markers and stuff and try to sell those. Started on shoes, all that. And it was always just like we're artists and we need some form of canvas that you have
Mhm.
to see, you have to look at. You might not always see my sketch pad in my backpack.
Yeah.
You might not know that I'm an artist like that. But if you see my shirt and you're like, oh, dope shirt, you don't even have to know it's me, but if you see like dope shirt, that to me is like that means a lot. Cause it's
Yeah,
like,
because I think because like I said, I was mentioning off air is like there's a lot of I guess experience and knowledge and hard work that goes into these software apps like Photoshop, Illustrator, or any other app that you use to actually design things. It's there's so many options. Like I think when I first opened Photoshop 5 or 6 years ago, it was so intimidating, bro. Like there's like I'm telling, there's it's Photoshop. You can you can do
Mhm.
anything.
You
Well,
can
not
make
anything, but most
anything.
things, which is wild. And I remember when they I guess when social media started popping off, people would refer to Photoshop whenever uh, people would change things in an actual picture.
Mhm.
So whether if it was like cutting someone out or um,
Making
wider,
somebody buff or
yeah,
something.
wider
Yeah.
teeth or just there's something like that that actually changed your appearance. That's what you refer to as photoshopped, and then it kind of went into this whole thing as far as graphic design. Whenever, well, I'm sure they used it before. I'm not too sure on how
Mhm.
long ago people or how long Photoshop has been around, but
I think
yeah.
like, oh, if I'm not mistaken, it's been around since like 2001.
Oh
But
shit.
don't quote me on that. But I'm kind of,
Yeah.
I want to say it was like 2001.
I had this, and this is totally off topic, but it's just a thought in my head. So the thing that that I've said before on the podcast is whenever you're creating or editing videos or audio or anything like that, they have this software,
Mhm.
and it's based off coding and programming and things like that. So my question that I asked before is, how did that happen? Like in movies in the '90s when like that stuff wasn't available.
They used to cut film. They used to cut film and then they would layer it on each other. So like any type of text or any type of like movement or anything like that, it's a separate sheet that they would like paint.
Holy shit! You just blew my mind, bro.
It's crazy.
How do you even know this?
I'm a film major.
Okay, okay. See, that makes sense. So, okay, that's a good question then. So, whenever so film is your only major? Do you have another like minor or anything like that?
Well, so my full title of my bachelor's is mass media,
Okay,
but it's a concentration in film production. And I got my master's in communication and film production management.
that's dope, bro. That is not many people make it to a master's degree. So,
Fucking
I know.
sucked.
I
It
no, I
sucked.
bet, bro. From the stories I've heard from the couple people that have master degrees, it's a lot of fucking writing,
Mm,
and that's the part where I was terrible at.
yeah.
But yeah, man, the that is super super interesting because that's a question I've had for years, and even the audio part too as well. Like you go into this audition that I'm using right now, there's like plug and play action and presets and templates and all these other things that's like you can use now, whereas back then it was just a little, oops, not a little, but it was a lot different. So
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting to actually say that. I'm gonna Google this whenever I get home because that right there, what you said was pretty interesting. But
It's pretty
though,
cool.
yeah, man. So going into the actual clothing brand, how s- providing products to customers, what's kind of been the hardest part? Because I mean, like I said, there's a ton of clothing brands out there. So, kind of, what was your whole aspect as far as separating like your clothing brand from everybody else?
Well, that's a multi-layered question, but I'll try to answer it as best as I
Yeah,
can.
yeah, yeah.
So the one thing about, you know, clothing brand, and I would say it's maybe the most important, is customer service. Starting out, it's kind of hard because, you know, you're trying your best to get products to people from like your friends and family, and you don't want to let them down. You just want to get them the product, but you got to worry about um, where you're getting your shirts from. Is the quality of the shirt really good? How many washers can it take? Um, how are you printing on your shirts? Like what way are you going? Are you sewing? Are you putting things together? Where your labels gonna come from? Where your bag's gonna come from? Do you have enough printing paper for to send out your orders? Um, can you afford to manage your website every month?
Yeah,
Um, it's like the little things that people don't necessarily like pay attention to. Especially now with Amazon, you order something from Amazon, you get it that afternoon. And then but as starting out a brand, it's like, well, you have to know a balance or you have to like go through the balance.
hmm,
So at first, it's like I was over ordering. I was gonna order 100 shirts. I was just so sure that I was gonna sell all 100 shirts. Sold 12. So I'm stuck with
yeah.
the stock. So I'm like, all right, I need to switch the game plan up. And then I would be like, well, I'm gonna print because I only sold 12 last time. I'm gonna print 15. 30 people order. So
Oh
now you have
shit,
to
yeah.
go back and you can take care of as many orders as you can. And then you also are faced with like, all right, if I'm gonna ship it, if I'm shipping this shirt here, how am I gonna package it? You can do like a bag, you do a box, but how's it gonna keep your attention? Am I gonna tell you what's up? Like send like a little letter or
Hmm.
whatever? What's my marketing material gonna look like? And then sending that out. It can go from $3 to $5. Then it goes to, well, how am I gonna price the shirt? If I'm paying $12 for everything for that one shirt and I'm selling it for 20 bucks and then I got to ship it for $5, I made $3. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? So it's a tricky balance that you have to keep up with, especially when you start off by yourself and you're trying to get your name out there and you're trying to do like different things to like show people your brand. And then in that process, you're like, okay, I have this design, this design, this design, and this design. So how are you going to afford to print all of those designs in whatever colors? And then how are you going to convince the people to actually buy those?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's it's a nice balance, but it's one of those things that it keeps you on your toes. Some days you're gonna hit perfectly. You're gonna order 50 shirts and you're gonna sell 50 shirts. Or you'll sell 40 and then you're able to like do like a giveaway or something to get more customers.
Yeah.
And some days you're gonna order 12 and you're gonna need to get send out 50. So now you have to manage, okay, now you gotta wait for wherever you're gonna sourcing your shirts from to send them in, and
Hmm.
then you gotta keep in contact with your customer. Hey, look, my bad. I'm still working on getting your order. I'm still working on getting your order. A lot of like when you start out early, it's it's cool, but it also feels like you're letting your friends down if you send out something super late. But then it's also like they understand because they
Yeah,
know
yeah.
like you trying. But then you get to a point where it's like such and such from Newark, New Jersey ordered a shirt 3 weeks ago. Where it's at,
Yeah, yeah.
So I think the whole idea is to basically keep a balance, keep a stock, try to like
Hmm.
you learn a lot of those little elements that you need to like run it.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of things going on with clothing brands. And the thing that I want to touch on is Amazon changed the game when it came to shipping. I
Right.
mean, they've been around for a while now. And whenever the 2 day shipping went mainstream, companies were, they just had to adjust. And they have free 2 day shipping, free shipping in general. Cause there was times where, man, when I was in high school, shipping would just be nowhere near as expensive as it is now. Because I mean, brands are competing with Amazon, which is one of the biggest retailers out there right now.
Hmm.
So that's a huge part. But also too is like the pandemic caused a
Man.
ton of issues when it came to manufacturers and
Yeah.
suppliers with materials and clothing. And I I was I was reading a tweet a couple weeks ago, and this clothing brand that I follow was preparing for like the holiday season, and I mean that's 2 or 3 months ish away, and that's just to tell you that 2 or 3 months they're planning it right now. How far back the designs and the customizations they had to do were probably 6 months ago. So it's
Hmm.
like you got to be kind of ahead whenever it comes to I guess clothing brands. But that's the part I want to ask you is like, how do you figure out what's in style 6 months from now? Like, what's kind of a way to figure out, oh, this person is gonna like it based off what I have in mind?
Research and looking at I don't want to say follow the trends, but looking at the trends. Like, and this is something that I kind of pay attention to as far as like who is putting out what major brands are doing what. But if you look at a lot of the mid-tier brands, a lot of them are using skulls as imagery. Skulls or skeletons and skulls right now are taking over the game. What I've picked up of I've seen everybody's using the championship rings now when they're putting something out. But like noticing like two different brands or three different brands using similar imagery, um, you kind of like write it down and like, okay, well, if I was to do this, how would it look? Do I want to incorporate that? How would I flood it like that? I know it's trending right now, but pay attention to like your following. So, are my followers interested in that? I see it, but do my followers see it? Is that something that they like? And then you just reach out and like, hey, look, I'm working on this design. What do you think about this? I think I DM like a lot of random people. I'm like, hey, look, I'm working on this. What does this look like? I'm like, oh, that's tight. Or I would change this. I would move this here. Da 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 da. And I take in the research from that. But I also just look at things that I don't see as much, but would probably get a shine. So if I see people are doing like the rap tees, right? Like where they have the grit or the bling letters, and then they'll have like a rapper or something like that, and their logo or whatever. I'm like, well, how would I use that but break it down? So I do have like this is Adonna Summers tee. I made it because I listen to a lot of '70s music, so that was one of the inspirations for my summer drop was just showing love to like artists from the summer, but trying not to make it look like it's a rap tee.
Mhm.
You know, I have a Shaka Khan shirt, and it started out as a rap tee, and I just broke it down to just showing like what she represents. That way, it's a question grabber. Like a lot of people know of Shaka Khan, but like you would if you saw a picture of Shaka Khan, you'd be like, ah. So that's one thing that works into that. Um, but also, I do try to like stick with, you know, how will this live out in a couple of
Yeah.
months, in a couple of years? Can I say something that'll live out a little bit larger?
Yeah, the interesting part is you reaching out to like your customers because not a lot of people do that. They just kind of throw shit out there and like if it works, it works. If it not, then you got to switch it up. But that's super important because you don't see that not you don't see that a lot nowadays. And I think it's different because they're purchasing your product, so you
Mhm,
kind of want to see if this is something they're actually willing to purchase, or if there's any type of like constructive criticism they might get, like you
mhm,
mentioned. Because I'm sure that if someone reached out to me or if you send me something, I'm like, I would definitely give you like an honest opinion on saying, damn, that's dope. Maybe you should switch the font here or add an image or something like based off
mhm.
what you're trying to figure out and what you're trying to research. But man, that's huge. If you message me and you have a clothing brand, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. That's pretty fucking dope, bro. And especially when you're starting out, because you want to have I would feel like you would want to have that customer like kind of relationship between them. You want to know, I think if I were to have an opinion on a product or a t-shirt, I'm more willing to buy it because I gave my feedback to it. So that's
Right.
pretty fucking smart and interesting. But yeah, man, it's just pretty dope to see. But with this, like, what other plans do you have for like the whole lifestyle brand? Because how many products do you have like right now where it fits like hoodies, t-shirts, hats?
On the store available, I want to say I have about like 60.
Hmm.
So I have stock, but I also do like for later prints. I do like a sample or whatever, and I'll do like a print per order.
I got you.
So um, right now I carry about like 60 to 70 of everything. But actually on Saturday I'm running a special right now, so it's still Labor Day. So if you want to shop on the website, you have until Friday. Use Labor Day 30 and you get 30% off your order. Just to plug that in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like the trend of using seasons as a way to like, all right, I have this many ideas coming, but I want to work on this, but I only want to work on like 4 or 5 of those. So I have some stuff coming at the end of the week, and then I have things planned out up until uh Earth Day.
Oh, damn. So you're, like I said, you're ahead, and that's good.
Yeah.
Because I think yeah, man, that comes with a lot of, I would assume if you were not ahead in that sense, there would be a lot of issues when it came to that springtime shit. And then
Yeah.
again, the season part, like you don't want to be selling shorts in the fucking winter, like
You would
damn
be
near.
you'd be surprised. A lot of people buy uh a lot of people buy their winter stuff in the spring and summer and then buy their summer stuff in the winter to save on a little bit of cash. But you
Yeah, yeah.
know that you show like what you're going to sell first, uh obviously, um but you're prepared to like, if I know I'm gonna put out like some, if I like this bomber, if I know I'm gonna put out a bomber, I'll show it in the summer, like to let people see it,
Ah, I got
and
you.
then like, all right, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get that, I'm gonna get that then. But I did like those shorts that you have, that you kind of like only posted once. I'm gonna just wait till they go on sale or something. That particularly that's my audience. My audience, because I understand who I am. I'm like, man, I buy stuff on sale. I
Yeah,
wait to the sale at the end of the year. I'll wear it next year. I'm not like that. I'm not the. I don't want to stay like fit wise above the crowd
yeah,
in
yeah,
that manner. I'm like, if it looks dope, I'm gonna wear it. But I try to balance that. But I mean, in the same vein, I understand like where the I'm not gonna buy no shorts in the wintertime. That's a waste of money.
yeah.
But I like saving money
No,
like
and that,
that.
bro, you make perfect sense because I mean, you get to the winter and January, February, and that's when the I guess summer shit is on sale from the previous year. And it's even crazier now is because obviously the pandemic hit and the inventory as far as like big retailers, I'm assuming have pushed back their actual sales and their type of kind of engagement they were getting from customers. But no, I get what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense because I'm the same way, bro. I buy shit on sale all the fucking time. And the type of things that I personally buy is not what I don't know. Like I'm like this fucking t-shirts from Target. It was like $13. Like
Man,
I don't give a these shorts are from Old Navy and they're like 14, $15 out.
yeah.
Like, but I mean, I got easy slides on. That's what
Yeah,
makes the fit work. But
right.
it's just different. Like I used to be so into um I wouldn't say like luxury brands, but just name brand shit. And I was putting on an image that I wasn't really like kind of I didn't really want to portray. And then it kind of got down to it. Then I started paying bills and then I started living on my own. And then you got a
Yeah.
budget. There's so many things you have to worry about.
Mm.
And then when it comes to clothes, you're like, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm going to HEB, I'm fucking put on whatever.
I will say, uh, big shouts out to uh Urel. I call him Yeezy, but I didn't want to confuse nobody. Big shouts out to Urel and big shouts out to my boy Daz. They put me on game just on the style aspect. Like uh Urel will go like to a Target or to a thrift and just find something like, oh, this is fire. But it's like just the way that you put it together. Daz, he can literally put on anything and it'll be the dopest fit you ever seen. Like, bro, how all right,
If I
bro.
wear that, it's not gonna look the same.
Right. It's not gonna have the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
effect. But he always kill it when it comes to that. But that's also something that I pay attention to is just the wave that, where things move. You see people are looking at thrifting and going vintage. I will say I don't think I'll ever buy a vintage shirt for like $300. That's not
Oh yeah.
something I could see myself ever doing.
Yeah.
I mean, people change, but that's one thing I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, I can't do it. But I do go to like the places that do sell thrift, like Faulty,
Mhm.
or I think it's called like ATX Vintage. I
This is a
think
store in
so.
Austin, I'm
No,
assuming?
well, they have a shop in Austin, but they also have one here.
Okay.
They're ironically they're like around the corner from each other. But they sell vintage, and
Mhm.
like I shop there. Like I'll get some dope pieces. I got a Betty Boop shirt for like I think like $25, but it's one of my favorite pieces.
Mhm.
I'll have somebody make something for me. Like I'll get a regular shirt, and I'll have somebody make something for me. Um, I shop with the homies all the time. I always shop with the homies as much as I can. But just seeing what they have in their inventory and then fitting it with something that I can find
Yeah.
for $5. I'm distressing I think it was like a $15 jean jacket I got from Target right now. I've been setting it in the sun so I can sun bleach.
Oh, damn, you're doing it yourself? That's what's
Yeah.
up, bro.
Yeah, so
Damn.
but, like, making something your own, that's basically the idea of the brand. It's just
Yeah.
like, how can you put something together?
Yeah, my whole thing is just not caring what other people think or about what you're wearing. And I think you gotta wear shit whatever you feel like wearing with confidence. Cause I don't know, it's weird for me whenever I go out on places, uh, and, like, you see these people and it's just like, "Man, you could be saving so much money if you didn't care about what other people think." You could save so much damn money. But I mean, that's none of my business. I try not to pay too much attention for that. That's
Yeah.
too much fucking energy for me. But the whole situation with I guess putting a fit together is because I mean you can have different things from different retailers, and like they can just be, for instance, like I'm a basic t-shirt kind of guy. Like I've sometimes I don't even minimum to like no logos on it, and just the type of material kind of just attracts me. Like the softer,
Mhm.
the better. Um, I'm I'm that, and then I kind of lean towards the actual heavy cotton type ish things. Like I like that heavy cotton over large
Mhm.
type fit, and it's just it's different. But the when it comes to I guess picking your fit, or how do I ask this? Do you imagine people's fit whenever you make designs? I don't know if that's
Yeah.
a weird question.
No, it's not.
Like, hey, I can put this T-shirt with these shorts that you're selling. Is that something you kind of go through?
Yeah. So, um, if I'm out, and I try not to travel, I try not to go out as much, but, like, if I'm out, I'll be like, "Okay, I got a shirt that'll go with those jeans." I
Uh,
like to distress on that.
so not even your own clothing, just what other people are kind of
Yeah.
wearing. I got you. Okay.
Yeah, like, I if you tweak this, that'd be dope. Or that graphic tee would look tight if it said this or something like that. I like the fit of it, and then I'll go research to see like where to. I'm the weird guy in the club. I'm like, hey, bro, can I see your collar real quick?
What?
Where'd you
Well,
get that? Where'd
yeah,
you get that
yeah,
shirt from? That's dope. I like the fit. I like touching people's shirts and stuff. Don't want to give it a host, but like
yeah.
touching people's shirts and
Hilarious.
stuff and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
feeling the like materials and just seeing like how to source. I think I email starter like the starter jacket people. I think I email starter like every week. That's if I could have a collab with any brand, it would be starter and Converse. Like
That's what this bomber reminds me of, bro. When I first saw it,
that was
is it
a
is
that
that?
was a point.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I
What?
like
Why
the
starter though? Because I mean, it's one of those brands that I mean, you don't really see around.
Mhm.
But the only thing I can, well, yeah, why starter, bro?
Well, I fuck with starter personally because it's black owned, but it's like a, cultural it's a placement in the culture, the way that they have, their bombers, their hats. I remember somebody tried to bring starter hats back, and who was it? Snapbacks back, who said that? Tiger?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
I remember
just
that
the
era.
way that the hats, just their shirts, um just how they fit and, imagining, all right, the way that we style things now with skinny jeans or like high waters or whatever, how we put those together. I know I could make something fly.
Yeah. What when you say reaching out or communicating with starter, what exactly like who you were talking to and what's the conversation look like?
I send hella cold emails. They have I ended up following one of I guess I don't want to call him a PR guy, but I'll see. So my research starts with I'll see a campaign and then somebody will tag like starter in there. I either go to the website and find like contact us, or I'll find like the friends of a friend of a friend of a friend who knows that person.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I either DM them or I'll get like an email or something. LinkedIn is also a good way to like try to like get collabs and get business and stuff like that. But just a code email. Hey, this is my name. This is my brand. This is how much like relevance I am in this area, I would definitely love to do like a collaboration or some type of project where I can use your material as a canvas or a source to build off of and sell like a pop-up shop and just have you as a collaborator. It'll be dope for the city. It'll be dope for, whatever area. This is my contact number, blah blah blah. Something like that.
Mhm.
And it's hit or miss, but you get better at it over time of trying to like do those connections. But
Is that something that you have in the works right now? Because when you say like communicating with starters, is that something that you kind of
it's not something that has come to fruition yet. That's
gotcha,
what
gotcha.
I'll put it that way. It's not something that has come out
Yeah, yeah.
yet. Starter doesn't even sell their like blank tees. So like
That's
even
interesting.
if
Yeah, yeah.
even if I was like, I'm gonna just use
Yeah.
them, uh, I'll just use that.
Yeah. What's man, Ron put me on to this website, and maybe you can tell me where you search up. They have like a little search bar. And you search up like you can basically put in information and you can like get uh these people's emails from like Nike or something like that. Fuck, I don't remember the actual name. But that's what you kind of reminded me of is like there's this website where you can like put in like some information in a search bar and then like these people's emails from Nike, from Gucci, from different kind of brands.
I personally don't know. LinkedIn, well, linked if you're really, really serious about getting in contact with somebody,
Yeah, yeah.
LinkedIn is an extremely helpful resource. If you have a LinkedIn Pro account, you can actually reach out to those people and get their email and contact them that way. Once they see like the business or the LinkedIn Pro,
Hmm.
you know, a lot of the conversations go a little bit better. Um, I have a funny
I'm
story.
yeah, go for it.
Um, my first year of grad school, I was like getting my organization together, and we were really trying to like just do something big. So um, I ended up reaching out to Nike to see if I can get like a tour of the campus. I was like, look, I got an organization. It's about like 8 or 9 of us. We just want to, we're a nonprofit. This is what we do. We're college organization. Da da da. I gave them the spiel. I'm like, this is what we want to do. Tried to I sent them I sent them an email, didn't get a response back for like 3 months. But mind you, we're just like I'm telling everybody in the organization, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go to the Nike campus. We're working on getting funding. We're having fundraisers and stuff like that to buy our plane tickets and all that. Like we're doing the work. We're putting in the work. I'm one of those just like even if something doesn't happen, put in the work to it, and then it's never gonna be for naught. Like if that falls through, we can use that to do something else. So I had contacted Nike, I had contacted Adidas, I had contacted the Converse headquarters in Boston, even though they are Nike. I had contacted New Balance. I contacted like I mean, all of them, doing the putting like just asking.
Hmm.
Um, it was coming close to our day to go, or it was about like maybe 4 months in advance. And so I reached out to my professor. I was like, hey, look, this is not shaking. I need a way to get there. And she was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like this, you can try to do it like this, but and she just gave me like the proof email and stuff like that, how to send like a letter with the letterhead and just like the how to contact somebody in that stature.
Yeah.
Even that didn't work. Ironically, it was I don't know how this happened. I honestly don't. But one of our members in our organization, he was a waiter. Mind you, my college is in San Angelo.
Okay.
Um, he was a waiter, and while he was waiting, he was wearing one of our shirts, and he started chopping it up with this lady about the organization, what we do, all this da da da. She was like, "My daughter works at Nike. I think she would really like to talk to y'all." Gave him the card, or gave him our card, or gave him her card, you know, uh,
Hmm.
and he was like, hit me up all excited. He was like, dog, da da da, reach out. First thing I did, email him. emailed them, and they were like, "Yeah, it's cool. Come up." And so, a couple of days after that, I had gotten a letter from Nike, uh, but it was basically this was before I had even found out about the lady. My brother, they had sent the letter to my brother instead of me, and he had it for like 3 months. And he was like, "Hey, dog, you left this was in my mailbox," and I'm like, "Bro," and it was all rained on, and I was like,
So they had told you yes, or what the letter say?
"It said hell no."
Oh.
It was like, but how they worded it was like, I mean, you can't meet anybody in here, but I mean, the campus is free to walk. Just walk and look and see everything.
Mhm.
Just pull up. So time comes, get on the flight. We go to Portland, and we ended up driving from there to Beaverton
Mhm.
to walk the campus. We get to the gate. We're like, we're here to meet XY, and he was like, uh,
You gotta be on some type of list or something,
well,
or
yeah, he was like, they have to call somebody has to call him up, call him up, and they was like, well, no, just go park, man. Like, I mean, don't worry about it, just go park. Like, cause we're in a minivan, we all have like our Yo Sneak stuff on, we got our
Yeah,
care
yeah.
packages and stuff. So, uh, we go park, and I'm like, bro, I'm like the mom. I'm like, bro, please don't embarrass me, dog. Like, we
Don't
just
ask for
here, you know what I'm
nothing.
saying? We coming over here, like, bro, don't embarrass me, bro. So we're like walking around the campus. It's so dope. It's like it's crazy. They got this big ass football or soccer field,
Mhm.
and they just let the ducks just like walk on. It's
That's
super
crazy,
cool.
yeah.
Got a track. So we're about 30 minutes into there. We're like, well, we're looking for so and so. We end up going to her office because my thought process was we have merchandise for our organization. Just give them a letter of what we do. Just show love and pretty much
Mhm.
a thank you. We go to her office and we meet her boss. And her boss was like, "Oh, well, she's not here, but I mean, do you want to come back, or I can give it to her?" I was like, "Nah, we'll just come back."
Mhm. Yeah, you wanna personally get yeah.
Right. So as we were coming back to the as we were coming back to the gate, we stop I stop at this I think it's like a shrine to Michael Jordan. It's like right when you walk in, it's like all Michael Jordan stuff.
Mhm.
Um one of my members comes up, like one of the little homies, like one of my brothers, one of the little homies. He comes up, he's like, "Doc, stop what you're doing. Let's go." And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So I walk out, like he's like in a panic and like, but smartly, I tell him, I'm like, look, we're about to go to Nike's campus. Don't wear no Adidas. Don't wear no Adidas stuff. Don't wear no, if you're gonna wear something, wear Nike and wear our stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
it. So he sees somebody, I forgot what shoe they had.
Popular shoe, I'm
It was
assuming.
a super, this was, mind you, this was right before um the very first off-white like Jordans that came out. Like
Just
maybe like 3 or 4 months before the off-white Jordans come out. And before that, remember, everybody was killing 'em. Why would they do this to Jordan ones? Why would
yeah, it
like just
was
killing? It
yeah.
was going crazy on the internet. So we get there and um we meet. I'm if I'm not mistaken, it was like the district manager of like operations or something like that. Basically the head honcho. He works with like everybody.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Well, he told me y'all got an organization. Let me hear what y'all got. What are y'all pitching?" Never pitched a meeting in my life before.
Oh, shit.
Never like I'm like I'm sitting here like, bro, I've never done nothing like this before. I just
Mhm.
got the homies with me. I'm like, all right, bet. Plug in the TV. I'm gonna bring up our website and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what we do. Like, he's like, well, y'all got 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, cool. Da 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 da. Telling him about this thing. Da da da. I tell him what what I'm studying, like my dissertation, like everything, like within the ideals of Nike. Like I'm just
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
buttered
Yeah.
up. His assistant kept coming in and was like, um, you're about to miss your appointment. You're about to miss your. He was like, nah, give me like 10 more minutes. Give me like 10 more minutes. So I'm telling him, I'm like explaining everything, like how our organization works, what we do, why it's important, but then also mirroring it with the idea of storytelling throughout Nike. And I'll start breaking down. I'm like, watch, the Off-White shoe is about to do crazy numbers because it's getting bashed, but it's using like the designers and like
Hmm.
how the story is being developed out. I'm talking to him about it. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, what do you guys want? I'm like, what?
That's my
I
question
just,
too.
I was just like, I'm like, and I'm just at that point, I'm just like speechless, and I'm like, man, I want to work with you guys in some vicinity, you know, like he was like, oh well, let's work something out, blah blah blah, and he like gave every single one of us a pair of shoes, and we dipped out. And it was crazy because like we got that, we walking out like all glowing and shit,
Yeah.
and like get back to the car, we all hyped. We're like, well, we still got to come back up here tomorrow, but we don't want to be like no bugaboos or nothing.
Oh,
You
because
know what
you
I'm
got to meet
saying?
the lady that you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So we're like, oh, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Let's come back, bro. Like, just come back, dress similar, but
Yeah.
try to switch it up. Come back. The guy actually sees us, waves us on. He already knew who he was. Walk back there, still not there. So at this point, it's Friday, so it's about to be the end of the work week. So I was like, well, uh, I'll just give
Hmm.
this to you to give to her, but just let her know it's from us. She took a picture of us and all this shit. She was like, hey, the employee store is up the street. Y'all want passes? I was like, fuck yeah.
Fat bet. Hell yeah.
I was like, yes, what the fuck? Of course we do. So got the
Damn.
passes. And it was just like from that, we built like, all right, man, if we work together, as long as we're professional, as long as we, get the work done,
Hmm.
things fall into place the way that they're supposed to. And from that, I was like, man, I had to write like, so running an organization a s- at a school or college or whatever, anytime you're traveled out, you have to like write basically what happened, kind of like keep up with everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so like I'm writing, I'm like, we got to see this, da 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 da. And they were like, do you guys want to talk at the school? I was like, no. I was like, no, I'm good
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
that. But it was like this idea, like, and it kept on coming. So like now they
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
like different things all the time. So, but with the impression that the core value of that was just like, we're gonna help our community, and then we're gonna worry about ourselves later. But we're gonna coincide the
Yeah.
two, like make sure that we're good, make sure that the community's good, and just be like that, that balance of trying to put things together.
That's a wild story, bro.
Yeah, it's super crazy.
That's a yeah. That's definitely one to tell for a long, long time. But no, the biggest thing is just the falling in line part. I think when you have an organization and you have these members that are doing for a good cause and trying to relay a message, it will. And I think that's just comes with life in general. Like not even towards your organization, but just when you do things right and you have the right intentions and you give a message. Like a really thoughtful, encouraging message, and just trying to be helpful, I think it'll fall in line, bro. So that's crazy to hear. It's amazing to actually see that it all kind of the way a situation played out, and I guess the experience that y'all experienced was fucking dope because you didn't
Super
even.
fire.
I think you were saying beginning of the actual story, like you didn't even you were preparing for this, but you didn't get a word until the homie hit you up saying that he was waiting for somebody at the restaurant or at his job. So
Yeah.
that is wild, so fucking wild. But shit, bro, we coming to the end of this. Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say before we head up out of here?
Yeah. Can I get like 2 minutes? Because I don't know how this is gonna.
No, take your time,
Okay,
bro.
so the way that my company works, Yo Sneaks, is I I try to do a little bit of everything, branding, marketing, and all that jazz. But I also put on events. I try to put on events as a way to connect different ideals or connect different places or different parts of the community, and just to do some dope shit all the time.
Mhm.
I'm actually having a spelling bee, a adult spelling bee coming up next month on the 9th. I thought it was a super dope idea, but it's also to celebrate our 2000 sale.
Gotcha.
But I just want a few people to show up, show love. We're gonna have things there, but it's gonna be super super cool. Because people can't spell,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be the best part about it.
Yeah,
So
bro.
that
That's
was
a
pretty much all I got.
bro, adult spelling bee. Is there gonna be like alcohol and stuff like that?
Oh, hell
Yeah,
yeah.
that's hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, people can't spell for shit. Like restaurant, I can't. That's probably the one word that like you
It's
get
gonna
that.
take everybody out.
Yeah,
I already
yeah.
know.
That is wild. So October 9th, right?
October 9th, it's gonna be at Espuelas,
Okay.
off of, I wanna say it's Austin Street.
Yeah, just text me the address, bro. I'll put it in
Yeah.
the description. I'll relay the message too as well. But yeah, man, it was dope to have you on. It was dope to pick your brain about your clothing brand. You threw me off with the actual nonprofit organization, and that kind of just took it into a whirlwind with all these questions that I had just built up over the conversation. So pretty dope to see. Again, man, like I was saying in the beginning of this actual podcast conversation, you juggling, multitasking, all these opportunities and you're only one person is a dope thing to see, bro. Like that's like I'm telling you, a lot of people have that, and if people do have that, they burn out very very quickly because the mental capacity that it takes on is a ton of work. But
Mhm.
man, I like again appreciate you coming by.
Always, man,
This
anytime.
if you ever want to come back, bro, and just kind of promote anything, feel free to hit me up, bro. We'll
For
get you
sure, for
we'll
sure.
get you back on this actual kind of podcast platform. But man, I will link all his information down below, website, nonprofit, the spelling adult spelling bee going on next month on October 9th. Make sure to
October
pull up.
10th, my fault.
Oh,
It's October 10th, but I'll
October.
send that information.
Yeah, yeah, October 10th. But if this goes live Friday or before Friday, then what's today? Wednesday. Maybe not. Labor Day sale on his website. So again, make sure to hit that up. But yeah, man. Episode 55.
Oh man,
Got
55.
yeah,
That's
Yo
crazy.
Sneaks in the building. So yeah, we out here, guys.